All right, we are back in draft, shaking off the rust after the summer of baseball. I won my league for that, and that was a real nail biter. I had a huge comeback on the very final day, and I won by the slimmest of margins, so that was quite amazing. But we are here for Mons. And I guess I could have nicknamed my team after players that I had on that team, but yeah, I don't know. Dude, there's so much turnover in fantasy baseball that didn't want to. Well, maybe I could come back and do it. I don't know. We'll decide. Right now we have the noon after Japanese otiers. I'd like to start watching some classics again. But of course, as the year wraps up, but this is a pretty weak year for film, in my opinion. Everything I'm seeing that I like is just well, yeah, I expected that, and I haven't seen any surprises. I feel like I've seen more than usual at this point. So, yeah, but either way, that's cool. And back in draft, climbing the Ranbats ladder pretty well. At 1900 right now, it would seem that we know how to play still. Obviously, we can get higher than that, but it's not bad. Yeah, just trying to make the right moves, trying to get back into the swing of expending resources appropriately. And also, since I've already started prep for week 1, figuring out exactly where my switches are, what the contours of the game will look like, which is how I usually like to phrase what most people call a game plan. So this is going to be the team, and it's going to be based around. This is high tier Terra, by the way. This league. As you might expect, my Pokemon that I pick for Terra Captains are not the very highest tier, just because I like Pokemon that are not super hot getting made viable by Terra. I find that more interesting than just having mods that are already good given Terra, because that's not... we can do without it, right? So there's going to be a whole bunch of broken Terras in this league, but I like my chances of my one Terra Captain, especially. I mean, I have 2, but of my one Terra Captain, which you'll only see towards the end, dealing with them. Yeah, and you'll see why. It's a mod that almost never goes, but it's not necessarily low tier by any means. So it was really expensive to Terra it, but hopefully it's going to be cool. I had a cool tech that I really wanted to use with it, but it was just it was going to be too many resources to use 2 mons, pretty much just for that idea. So I abandoned that and we'll go solo. But we've got other ways to embolden it for sure. But again, we will get to it. And also that the way that we draft is never I'm just going to take the most broken thing on the board, and I'm going to supplement it later, figure it out later. We always plan extensively beforehand. Now, I will admit that there's some suboptimal things about it, even though we got 0 snipes, unless you count I kind of wanted maybe Pult, and that went first overall, but that was pretty much it. Everything else pretty much fell into place. But at the same time, there were some twists in actually drafting that left me with a team that is good and I like. Of course, I wouldn't roll with it if I didn't, especially since Grace exists. But on the other hand, the first thing I wanted was something to, maybe this is a hint for what my mod is later, that I'm talking about, my Terra Captain, something to Pursue Trap. I tried a bunch of different ones, because I've actually never clicked Pursuit, because I really started playing in Gen 8, and I never have used it in it's been banned in a couple leagues. But yeah, I've never gotten around to using it in draft. So I wanted to do something that can specifically do that, because I really like it feels like it gives you control over the battle, right? I like Pokemon that like give you control over like what is gonna happen, like with regards to like switching in turns, stuff like that. And so Pursuit definitely can do that. I looked at Tyranitar. It didn't really fill any roles besides being dark, having Knock and Pursuit. It has rocks, but I find myself very seldom clicking rocks or spikes or hazards of any kind, to be honest. Like maybe toxic spikes, but we don't end up with them on the team, which is a little disappointing, but I mean, I think we'll be okay. We have at least a couple of rock setters, but T-Tar's not one. Neither is Bisharp, which is a Pokemon I looked at for this role. It was going to work with that one Tumon Tech alignment, which I guess maybe I'll bring up later when it becomes clear what the Terra Captain I'm talking about is. But no, didn't love it otherwise. Looked at Mega Absol, good speed tier. And that is what I was referring to with regards to maybe somebody will trade me something that can give me a team that I like, maybe slightly better. Maybe it's a little more offensive than what I have now, but it should be fine because, you know, I really like bulk. I play like balance or semi-stall, mostly, not stall, semi-stall. Not because I have anything against stall, it's just like everybody's always like accusing me of it because they're dumb. They're stupid. Idiot! Okay, and but anyway, I ended up going with Weavile. This is allegedly, or ostensibly, one of my favorite Pokemon, just because I love Sneasel back in Gen 2. And you know, Weavile is just a strict upgrade, super cool. But I've actually never ever used it. Maybe in Ranbats a couple times, of course. But yeah, I've never used it on ladder. Never used it in draft. And yeah, we're gonna hopefully get some use out of this. Maybe it would be cool if Mega Absol trade doesn't happen, because this is gonna be hopefully a fun mon. Really wanted this for the speed tier. It is gonna be my fastest Pokemon, which for me 120 and up is, yeah, that's what you want for fastest. I know that that's not, you know, like the modern premium speed, but like it'll definitely do. Pursuit is cool. Pickpocket is cool. It has priority with Ice Shard. It actually gets Baton Pass, which is cool, and I'm really excited to see like what kind of text this thing can do, because whatever I think of this, I just think of, you know, banded, triple axle, banded knockoff, SD, maybe Sash, and I just think this is going to be a fun Pokemon to use. Like especially with the Baton Pass, because obviously, you know, it'd be preferable if it was U-turn, but I really like. My two Pokemon that I like, two kinds of Pokemon I like, are like big fat walls that may or may not have recovery, and fast pivots. And Weavile, honestly, because it is gonna be pursuing a lot, ideally, then it's kind of like the inverse of like a pivot, right? Like, I mean, I love pivots because positioning is everything, and it can Baton Pass. I'm definitely gonna bring that at some point, but like Pursuit, of course, is its own position, because it's depending on the scenario, it's unstoppable. So this is gonna be cool, hopefully, and yeah, and next is another Pokemon that is going to support what is hopefully the fulcrum of the team coming later. And it's going to be Primarina. This is on the very first ladder team that I ever built. It was a double Parish trap team with Altaria, Firespin, and this with Whirlpool. So that could be something that I'd be looking forward to bringing again, depending on the matchup. Also, whenever I face this thing, I have had a Slow King a couple times, and I've had to face Primarina with it both times. This thing with specs just destroys even a fucking Slow King. It's insane. Insane. Like, I think it can eat 2 with Assault Vest. But at that point, like, it doesn't do anything back. It can't, like, pivot out. It can't, like, Toxic. So this thing, it just beats other bulky waters. It's maybe not the bulkiest water, which is a little bit scary, but we can make it work. It should definitely be bulky enough on the special side. Good typing. Flip turn is awesome. Slow flip turn. The sub CM set is something that I find I think I'm gonna end up bringing at some point. I like that set. And I just really like this Pokemon all around because of its ability to Perish. I also, Perish Flip Turn I find really interesting as well because if you can get it off, it like will just like, you know, it helps you to reposition even more so. So yeah, that's, you know, an underrated tech, I think. Maybe like, you know, Sash Perish and stuff. Perish is just an awesome attack, so gonna be good there. It also even just like I figured also it works well with Weavile. Even if I don't get, you know, anything else I want and I have to reassess the team, but I did not. So next up, it's gonna be Heatran. We have our Water and Fire and our Steel and Fairy on 2 mons here. I don't know if that's suboptimal. I think it's fine because these are both really good mons. Heatran, very, very versatile. I don't know how versatile my past couple drafts have been. I've been clicking a whole bunch of standard stuff. So hopefully I get to bring some heat with Heatran. Yeah, I mean, there's a whole bunch you can do with this. 2 abilities that are really viable. As far as a Primarina 0 abilities that are viable, Weavile's half ability that's viable, but I mean, you know, it's not all about that, of course. Hopefully we get some Flame Body procs. Yeah, I mean, I've used this before with Spadef, as its Spadef also. It was really, really good there. We almost always get a Wish Pokemon, and we do have one later, and this and Primarina are really helped out by that. So that's going to be hopefully fun. Again, like, I mean, I always keep saying, obviously I'm not going to say like, oh, this is going to suck. Yeah, I mean, definitely not a bad Pokemon, really. You know, it's just all about the fit. It's all about the fit on the team. I really like, actually, its mid-speed tier really helped out, fleshing out my entire speed chart. So that was good, even though it's not like, you know, actually a fast Pokemon. It can be fast enough with Scarf Eruption, which we will, I'm sure, see, just because it can do so much stuff. So, cool Pokemon. Next up, Pecharunt. Ooh, now we're getting a little more exciting. I'm really excited to use it. I had thought before that, like, man, I wish there was a defensive Poison Ghost, because that could be a pretty cool defensive profile. And lo and behold, here we go. Yeah, 160 defense is just awesome. Has Recover, has Parting Shot. Yeah, I'd love. And it's, you know, it's mid-speed Parting Shot, which is ideal. Like, yeah, you can even run Scarf with this, even though it may not like hit super hard. But Be good if maybe it had like switcheroo or trick, which I don't think it does there, but yeah. It's the cousin of Pheasantipity, which we loved using on what is definitely my favorite team that I ever made. I don't remember what the name of the league was. It was just the PDL or what. But yeah, that was a cool Pokemon to use, and we now have Pedro, which is a little different, but is so defensive. And I don't mind the limited move pool. I don't think. We'll see, but like it can be physical and special. It doesn't really have any coverage moves, but like that's chill, because it really just needs to, you know, like take hits, parting shot, chip stuff down, maybe with like Nightshade. Yeah, I just think it's a cool Pokemon, and I've been wanting to use it for a long time since it dropped. So yeah, next up, I had no idea how this was still on the board. Now, obviously, like I say, this is not typically how I do stuff, so this is where the draft kind of took a little bit of a turn. I don't remember exactly what I was looking at outside of Moltres. Excuse me, Zapdos. I was looking at Moltres, but we already got Trans, so I mean, for my flyer, I was looking at Ments. That's right. But I had another Pokemon which was a little bit redundant with Ments in a different dragon that'll come next. So I was like, you know, maybe Zapdos is good. It's just a really good Pokemon. And it was on a whole bunch of other configurations of my teams. So it wasn't on any with Weavile. So I actually was debating whether this should be my first round pick or not. And so I was like, well, I just went with Weavile instead, because I was basically at a crossroads from the first pick, because it was either go with that one weird two-mon tech that I was alluding to, and that would be more Zapdos, or ditch that secondary mon and just go Weavile. But I guess we ended up with Weavile and Zapdos, and I mean, Zapdos is a great Pokemon. I'm not gonna complain. Already, just like look at like how like the team is like really solid. We have a lot of points to work with, yeah, just like right now we just have a lot of very good Pokemon that like all are working really well together. So it's maybe not a typical draft for me, but like, you know, we get built out by the end, I would say. Yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm hoping it's not my favorite team that I've ever made or anything, but like it's fine, you know, it's fine. Look, I have Zapdos. I'm not complaining. I've used this Pokemon before. It's a very cool Pokemon. I've got double Contact Punish now, which forces protective pads on a lot of stuff. I have, you know, Weavile to take off protected pads with not only knock but pickpocket, and there's very little getting around it. So yeah, I mean, we have a sort of an unorthodox pin here with regards to status spreading and item removal. So that is going to be pretty interesting. All around, you know, Zapdos is good speed tier. Great. Even the defensive typing is like better than the defensive stat, which are solid enough. And it can be offensive too. I have to like think more about like offensive Zapdos because you typically don't see it. I think it maybe all of our offensive options. I mean, Zapdos is fast, I guess. So maybe I could look more into like Scarf offensive Volt Switch Zapdos. And even like, you know, Scarf Primarina, Scarf Heatran, those are not options by any means. So yeah, I guess, you know, maybe I should, you know, be a little more open to those ideas, because I'm just thinking like maybe we're a little slow, but like, I mean, really it's not even that, it's just we're just so versatile at this point, outside of Pecharunt and maybe Weavile, that like I just have to know when to commit to offense or defense depending on the mon per week. So yeah, I think that's the case. But like I said, I decided to go Zapdos over Salamence because the main team I was looking at was Salamence. Also had Flygon. I have used Flygon before. It was wonderful. The defensive profile of this thing is so clean. Honestly, this could be the best defogger in the game. It's fast. It doesn't... it's basically immune to everything because it resists rocks completely. Yeah. Now, these are... I've only got these 2 removers, but I'm happy with that. They should, you know, be a great off-the-ground combo. Always have 2 of those on a team. Kids, definitely always do that. And try not to make them super redundant like I was going to be with Flygon Salamence. Same speed tier, both quad, Ice Weak. Not loving that. Yeah, and both dragons. So, like, basically they had like the same like offensive ideas. Like, Flygon is not super strong, but like it's a jack of all trades, master of none, which is kind of a theme right now on the team. Now, I will say that I really liked my Zoroark Regieleki team because it had a whole bunch of Pokemon that were masters of one thing, and were actually not super versatile. So maybe that's my hesitation here in general with this team. But you know, we build it out for types. We see one main idea that we want, which we'll finally get to next, and then we roll with that. And yeah, Flygon actually gets rocks now, which is awesome. Yeah, because now it is just, you know, mini Lando. I guess it doesn't have knock, but that's fine. Yeah, but it does have Roost. So I really like this Pokemon. It takes like so many like actual hits because it has so many great resistances, it can use Dragon Dance. It can do it. So don't be sleeping on it as an offensive threat. Maybe I'll go to sleep. But I mean, I didn't really consider it as much of an offensive mon when I was like, you know, checking my boxes for how many offensive mons I needed. Definitely more of a defensive mon, I think, even that doesn't have the real stats for it. But like, this is a great Pokemon, and I'm excited to have it back. It really, really, really performed when I had it before. Great move pool, amazing move pool, and yeah, we're happy with that. Next, we're finally getting to the Pokemon I've been alluding to as to what the main idea of the team is. And it is our Terra Captain, Gothitelle. Ooh, now, you may remember, actually, obviously you don't because this was not a YouTube thing that, right? I didn't upload this leak to YouTube. But I had a Terra Dugtrio at one point, which was just disgusting. And I mean, I could have done the same thing here. Terra Dugtrio is actually cheaper. But I wanted to switch it up. Yeah, so this is going to be cool, hopefully. It should be able to take care of anything that it needs to with a Terra. And we already have, you know, such good pivoting. I really like the idea of parting shot, Petrarunt with this. I mentioned your Pursuit Weavile, get rid of the ghosts that can't be trapped. I also mentioned Flip Turn, Parashong, Primarina. Okay, set up the Parashong. If you want to stay in, then I can flip into Goth. If you want to get out, then that's a free Flip Turn. So, yeah, another positioning idea there. I think this thing is, yeah, I was just working to support it the whole time with this team. We're not done supporting it because we have a really solid Wish user as well. Yeah, I mean, I've had Gothorita before, which was on the same team as Dugtrio, which is really funny. That was 1 point. I had that with Terra as well, and that was fun. That was fun. Gothitelle obviously is more flexible than Gothorita. It may take a little bit of getting used to be honest. Like in prep, I'm like, okay. So Yeah, but it can do a whole lot of stuff. And what I really like about it is it makes use of moves that are like definitely usually useless, um, just because of its ability. And it should be able to, check anything that it needs to and open up holes for the rest of the team. Get rid of stuff so that other stuff can. I mean, I don't have a true sweeper just yet, depending on what you think about Primarina with Calm Mind, Source Dance Weavile, and Dragon Dance Flygon, but like those are things at least. Pecharunt is a mon that can win because it's Super Wall, or it is a Super Wall. Ooh. Yeah, it's if you trap whatever could get past it, like maybe a Ghost with Weavile, maybe a Ground type, like Terra, Water, Grass, Gothitelle. Then there's just infinite possibilities when you have a Gothitelle, and I am so not scared of Shed Shell at all. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, go ahead. I'm way too balanced for having something to switch out of my Goth as it like Calm Minds and I lose one turn for that to scare me. So yeah, do your worst with regards to Shed Shell. I so don't care, especially because there's a whole bunch of other items that you want into me with like pads, especially comes to mind. Resist berries, choice items. If you're choiced, I really think Goth discourages choice items, which is another really cool thing about it. So, yeah, looking forward to it, but like, I may have to settle into it. We'll just have to see. Next up, Ambipom. At this point, like, the team is pretty much built out, and I like just plugging holes, not necessarily in the same order. I thought of everything. But Ambipom is cool. It was pretty much between this and like Mega Absol. But like this, it fits the points better. Mega Absol is literally pretty much identical to Weavile, so there's no sense in having both. Ambipom, I really wish I could Terra Captain this. Like, technically I can, and I may even just like switch back and forth to Terra on this and my second Terra Captain that you'll see next from week to week if I have the transactions for it. But I just think this is, I really like this Pokemon with or without Terra, I guess. It gives, actually our priority is not horrible. We have Weavile, we have Flygon First Impression, now we have Ambipom with the strong Technician Fake Out. We have one more really good priority user coming up as well. And I may have even forgotten something. I don't know, Aquajet Primarina. But yeah, this is just a cool Pokemon. It can do a whole lot of stuff. I like, utility ideas with it. I almost wonder like if I can like tech a Pickup, its Forgotten ability, into use. I thought it was like an auto recycle, but I tested it. No, it takes the opponent's item if it's not holding anything, and the opponent has used a consumable. So there's definitely tech possibilities there. But really, the main thing is fills the speed tier. It's very fast, yeah. Has knockoff, which I needed. Actually has pursuit too, which is cool. And U-turn. So this does a lot of stuff. It's not here just for being a normal type. And that's one of my I don't know if this is just a vibes or like, an aesthetic objection, but I do have another normal type coming. And I mean, it's not like I had already fulfilled everything that I needed, types wise. But it just feels like double normal is not like, ideal, but like it was going to be double something at any rate. But they do totally different things. So I should not be so, it shouldn't be niggling in the back of my mind, because it is very different from my other Pokemon. But you know, maybe offense is a little bit of a concern. But I don't know. This is such a terrible like, you know, like hype up job, because I'm just like I have doubts about everything here. But I mean, I think it's gonna be fine. We're just gonna have to see, because I've been out of action for so long. The team looks cool, and it will look cool by the end too. It's just a colors thing, because my next Pokemon is green, and then I also have another normal type, even though this one is purple. Yeah, so it's fine. It's fine. Look, we'll see. We'll see. But if that guy wants to trade me the Pokemon that would switch things up, then, but like, it's annoying, because then I will end up having to lose Zapdos and Weavile. Look, also, I'm going to be watching this in the future, back to myself. So if that doesn't happen, then I can't harp too long on it. Anyway, yeah, but maybe this is a good omen. Maybe I'll do well if I'm not sure about all this stuff anyway. So I don't really have a good reason not to be sure, because everything's a good Pokemon, and that's always what we do. Next up, Virizion with Terra. Yeah, I really like using Terra on Pokemon that are really going to benefit from it, because they do not have great base typings. Virizion, I've had it before with Terra, and it was like, oh, I didn't realize it didn't get Terra Blast, because Iron Leaves was already out, and I was like, oh, wait, oh, it's not in the game yet. No, it doesn't have Terra Blast. I actually did, I had like a block taunt set with it, with no attacks. It was like Synthesis Toxic, I think, outside of that. Because this thing is, here's what I really like about this Pokemon. It is the Pheasantipity of this team, because it's fast and defensive. And that's a kind of Pokemon that I just like, because it's not orthodox. Like, you expect, you know, your defensive Pokemon to be slow, you expect your fast Pokemon to be offensive, and this thing can be offensive. It is super weak. I wasn't treating it like a real offensive threat, but it has the ability to be offensive, especially, you know, if you can get set up using that superb natural bulk. This is, I guess I'm more excited now talking about this Pokemon, so that's cool. I was looking at, you know, some other like grass and fighting types as well, but this one, it fills a speed tier. What else was it especially about this one? It was primarily the speed tier that I liked about it, but like, it is a legitimate defensive Pokemon, especially with Terra. It can recover, and it's Terra filling out its coverage is awesome. I like what I'm seeing in my head out of Virizion. So that is, you know, that reinvigorates my happiness for the team. Even though these guys are both green. Yeah, they're the same Pokemon. They're both green. Yeah. Virizion, it's just a cool Pokemon I like. I like it aesthetically as well. So, yeah. And I guess to, yeah, finish it off. Hey, wait, what's going on? What the? Oh my god, what the fuck is that? Holy shit. Holy shit, what the fuck is that? Why? What even was that Pokemon? Oh my gosh. Holy crap. Yeah! Oh my. Who did that? Look how they massacred my boy. Or don't look. That was horrible. This Mega Audino was on the same team I had with Flygon, with Dugtrio, with Gothorita in the past. It had a Slowking too. It had a Corviknight too. And some other stuff. It had a Zoroark that I never brought. It had a Kartana. I think it had Infernape. And a couple other things. But that was a really fun team. So yeah, bringing this back. I could have used regular Audino, but I figured that this not only made it more distinct from Ambipom, which I thought was pretty crucial, but actually, it helps with knockoff being the most common dark move to have a Mega Pokemon. I really thought it was worth not having the item. Now I have been a little bit thinking like, man, I wish I could use the eject button on my regenerator Pokemon, but we'll figure out a different way to, you know, get eject button into the mix, I think, just because that's a super awesome item with Gothitelle. Yeah, I when I had this Pokemon before, I very rarely megaed up, actually. I only did it like in endgame scenarios when I needed to get a little bulkier. It really worked out. It was just a great Pokemon. It does the same thing as Mola, in that, like, I really think Wish should count as a pivot move, because you just Wish up, and especially if you're a region mon, you just hard switch. You can go into anything you want. You don't have to worry about, you know, taking another hit with slow pivot. You don't have to worry about, you know, not getting your own regen if you're your own Wish if you're a regen Pokemon. And it was really good all around. It's going to be a great way to get into Goth, great way to get into my Contact Punishers, going to be a great way to Wish up my Heatran and my Primarina. I can, you know, maybe even go like AV on like Zap and Flygon, or Virizion too, and bring that Wish in. So super versatile. It does actually really round the team out well. I've loved using it in the past, and I'm starting to feel a little happier now that I can just look back on this guy who really brings me back. That was my first time making finals. I lost to Doge in finals. I will not lose to Doge in week 2 this time. I vow it. This is the team. And I am getting a little bit more excited to use it. I am getting a little bit more excited. So this is going to be cool. If you noticed, all of our Pokemon are named after Japanese auteurs, film directors. I try to stay away from anime. None of them are anime directors. Not that I disrespect it, but just like, you know, people would know them then, which is normie, and we don't like that. If that trade doesn't end up happening, we're Gucci. This is a cool team. It's a little scary prepping in week 1, it shouldn't be too shiced. Hopefully, and find the way that's often how it goes. I see a threat and I'm like, oh no, what if it has every set at once? I'm just gonna figure out a way to put threats in boxes because of the balance that I have. That's what I should be able to do throughout the season. That's typically how I win. We've got how many pivots? If counting Weavile Baton Pass, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then with Mega Audino would be 7. That should really support Gothitelle. That's kind of the main idea. Hopefully we have enough offense. That's my main concern right now. But you know me, I really like... There's more than one way to break down a wall than just by breaking it. And that's typically... I've had teams that are less offensive than this in the past, I think. So I'm looking at it now and I'm aesthetically pleased. And I guess I'll see you in week 1. Goodbye.